Welcome to That's Good Broncos. I am Brandon. The Steelers might be just bad enough for the Broncos to advance to 4-1 Perna. The Broncos and the Steelers are very similar teams. They mirror each other. And not just because if you hold the Broncos 3-1 record up to a mirror, it is 1-3. Both teams have solid defenses. They invested a high draft pick in a running back that they underutilize. They have suspect offensive lines, a bunch of great receivers who are really underproducing for a litany of reasons and question marks around the quarterback position. All of those similarities point to this being a very ugly and close game. So let's take a look at the matchup and through my arbitrary and simultaneously rational point system determine who has the edge in the Broncos-Steelers game. Whew. That's good, Broncos. Please be good. Yeah, for all things Broncos, subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's Good Broncos. It's in the name. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Week 5, DraftKings has an offer every football fan should jump on. New customers can bet just $1 on any NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a single point. The last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in 1943, so I'd say this is a no-brainer. DraftKings customers can also get skin in the game with new same-game parlays, combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, and best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. DraftKings, use code DNVR when you sign up, DNVR. The Steelers will get half point for home field advantage. Although that clearly didn't help the Broncos last week. Pittsburgh, though, is a tough place to play, especially if you're the Steelers this year. 0-2 at home with losses to the Raiders and to the Bungles. I know that sounds like science fiction, but it's true. These ain't your daddy Steelers, but the 0-2 record at home scares me as a Broncos fan. We've got Teddy, 2 gloves, can tie his shoes with 2 gloves on, versus Ben Burger. Look at Teddy tying his shoes with 2 gloves on. How does he do that? All right, the Steelers are being held hostage by Ben. This meme, very on point. Ben is washed, physically, as clearly as Peyton Manning was in 2015, although unlike Manning, that year Ben doesn't have the mental acumen to put the offense in good positions like Sir Manning did on his way to the Super Bowl. Ben does, however, have the mental acumen to put himself in a good position, now that he has replaced porn with yoga. What's worse is the Steelers' only other options are Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins, which feels deliberately neglectful. There is no glimmer of hope at the position except for a miracle turnaround from Big Ben, or the fact that Ben is playing so badly that he might secretly be working to give them a chance to draft a good quarterback come April. Something Peyton Manning certainly didn't do in his final season, like a real jerk. Now, the only thing that scares me is Ben Roethlisberger's hip injury. I think the pain from that may actually distract him from the rest of his body failing and let him air it out one last time against the Broncos. Ben, like Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes this season, has 4 picks. Unlike those guys, he's not making up for it with touchdowns or a QB rating above 100. Ben way down at 78.9. Worse than Andy Dalton and Mac Jones. Now for the Broncos, they're lucky enough to get back a quarterback that, despite the tough first half against the Ravens, is still averaging 8 yards per attempt and is still yet to turn the ball over. If opposing quarterbacks were forced to wrestle each other, I'd be really concerned about Teddy's chances. Fortunately, all Teddy has to do in this game is work on his third down percentage and hopefully ingratiate their new receiver David Moore into the offense. Do that and use the tight ends, and I think the field will open up for the main targets, Courtland Sutton and Tim Patrick. Can we get Teddy to Timmy at least 10 times in this game, please? Another thing, Teddy desperately needs to protect himself after taking 9 sacks in 3.5 games. I expect the ball to be out quickly while the defense hopefully can chip TJ Watt and help him from reconcussing our quarterback. Teddy must protect himself because I'm sure as shit Pat Shurmur won't be doing that for him. So Teddy, it's you. A concussed Teddy is about as good as a washed Big Ben, and that's what this matchup currently is, a wash. Coach versus coach. This matchup would have been a lot closer before last week, but I think everyone was reminded why Broncos fans have been skeptical about the long-term prospects of Vic Fangio as the leader of this team. After getting beat by Jim Harbaugh, or is it John Harbaugh? It's one of those guys. Fangio created a real distraction on Monday by calling the Ravens last-second run bullshit and creating a beef that the Broncos didn't need. Mike Tomlin is about as steady a head coach as you can get, but I think pride is interfering in what should be an easy decision to sit Ben Roethlisberger and give this team a chance to win with Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins, as crazy as that sounds. I certainly understand Tomlin's loyalty to a quarterback that helped him win 2 AFC championships and a Super Bowl, but I think he's costing his team a chance to compete in 2021, and he's potentially wasting a very talented defense. I think he's costing his team a chance to compete in 2021, and he's potentially wasting a very talented defense. I repeated myself on purpose because you can apply that sentence to either coach right now. Tomlin gets the edge here, but barely. 0.25 points. That's it. Broncos defense versus Steelers offense. The Steelers did what all good teams do and drafted a running back in the first round instead of fixing the offensive line or, God forbid, addressing the elephant in the room at quarterback. Najee Harris has not been bad, or at least it's not his fault his rookie season has been a failure. Defenses don't respect the pass, allowing them to key in on the run, plus the offensive line has gone from a strength to a liability in 2 years. Najee Harris is averaging just 3.4 yards per carry, a full 0.8 yards lower than the league average. We know how good the Broncos are against the run, even if they did allow the Ravens to hit 100 yards. Denver can stack the box just like the Packers did last week and can count on their secondary to hold up in man coverage down the field. Green Bay had 2 sacks and a pick last week. Damn it. I am always thinking about penises, aren't I? 2 sacks and a pick, and that was without Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander leaving the game with an injury. If Denver can't walk away with 2 to 3 sacks or a lot of QB hits against a porous Steelers line, I will be pissed. The Steelers still have weapons at wide receiver, which feels like a bit of a waste, honestly. Despite the lackluster passing game, Deontay Johnson managed 92 yards last week, and Chase Claypool, who should be good to go Sunday, is their most explosive downfield threat, averaging over 14 yards per reception. Mapletron. This is a good week for the Broncos to get Ronald Darby back off of injured reserve. Pat Surtain is a little beat up, plus he got picked on a bit in man coverage last week against the Ravens. Darby coming back will allow the Broncos to man up on Schuster, Johnson, and Claypool, while Surtain plays the sort of joker role which was originally intended. Packers rookie Eric Stokes picked one off against the Steelers. So give me Patrick Surtain doing the same and give me a domineering defensive Broncos performance. Full point advantage here. Broncos offense versus Steelers defense. Against the Ravens, the Broncos averaged 6.2 yards per carry. What? But only ran the ball a total of 17 times. What? Which was just 28% of their offensive plays. What the fuck?
Oh, hell no!
When you get one-dimensional against a team with a good pass rush, you're looking for trouble. And it's a big reason the Broncos took 5 sacks last Sunday. The Steelers have a healthy TJ Watt, which is terrifying, who returned from injury to bring down Aaron Rodgers twice at Lambeau Field. 2 of his 5 sacks through just 3 games in 2021. The Steelers' defense, like the Broncos, is better than it looks on paper, as it has received very little help from the offense at times. The Broncos will be getting Dalton Risner back, and as much as he's had a down year, he's a better option than Quinn Miners right now, who needs some more time to catch up to the NFL after spending his college career beating up on Division III talent and, of course, trees in the forest. The Broncos can improve drastically in 2 crucial areas offensively. First is third down, where they're sitting on a 31% conversion rate, which is 3rd worst in the league. A big reason for that are all of the 3rd and long situations they're in due to horrendous shirmering, which is sort of like Shining from The Shining, but it's the part where the guy who can shine with Danny takes a fucking axe to his chest. Now, Shurmur might be the worst play caller in the history of the game. Denver was aggressive in their pursuit of Javonte Williams in the draft, and unlike the Cleveland Browns, another team with 2 number 1 backs in the backfield, Williams and Gordon, have accounted for just 434 rushing yards total and 3 TDs. Compare that to Hunt and Chubb, who have 6 touchdowns and 596 rushing yards. Will that change this week against a Steelers defense that's almost as good against the run as the Ravens? I doubt it. We're gonna get shirmered. Secondly, Denver needs to get better in the red zone, where they've scored a touchdown on just 7 of their 16 visits inside the 20-yard line, which is 5th worst in the league. If they can get to around average in both of those areas, this offense can bounce back after a tough game in week 4. Steelers get a 0.25 advantage. X factors in this game. Obviously, the Broncos quarterback situation is the biggest X factor, but outside of that, Denver did get Graham Glasgow and Dalton Risner back this week. They really struggled on the line without those 2 veterans against the Ravens, and corner Ronald Darby also returns, as I mentioned, so injury returns for the Broncos a boost. Just as I thought we were safe, Courtland Sutton emerges as a questionable to play this weekend. If he can't go, that is a big blow to the Broncos offense. Patrick Surtain, also questionable. So everything I just said about the injury report, the exact opposite's true. Steelers injuries might be a problem. Big Ben, banged up. Juju, banged up. Chase Claypool, banged up. Cam Hayward, banged up. Cam Sutton, to name a few. These guys are all dealing with injuries. Now, Cam Sutton, the Steelers' starting corner, has a groin injury that could have him out this week. A shame, since we could have had a Sutton covering a Sutton. And every time the announcers call the play in that scenario, we'd be very confused. Another X factor, this is also the stadium where Denver's season officially became a nightmare last year, losing Locke and Sutton early in the game against the Steelers. I desperately want our guys to stay healthy and for Sutton to show he's all the way back with a big-ass, long-ass touchdown. And the final X factor, David Moore's involvement with the offense. I need just 2 third-down catches for Moore. So, the points are tied. I predict a tie game that goes into overtime, where the Broncos win on a Brandon McManus field goal. And then the defense has to stop the Steelers from getting into field goal range because the Broncos won the coin toss, but they could only manage a field goal. Ooh, that's very specific. Thanks for watching. That's Good Broncos prediction episode. Check out the podcast Will and I did with Dave Damashek. That's up on the channel right now. Always fun talking to Dave, known Steelers fan, and just general good guy.